Hey guys, wanted to do a little bit of graphing lines for you today in preparation for our next unit on systems. So let's start with the first problem, y equals 7/2 x minus 2. So in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Your m is your slope and your b is your y-intercept. We're going to use those numbers on this graph with this equation to graph that line. So I always start with b, your y-intercept, which for this one is -2, because b is where you begin on the y-axis. So we're going to put a point at -2 on the y-axis because that is the y-intercept. Then we use our slope m, which is 7/2, to tell us how we move. So since the slope is 7/2, remember slope is rise over run. We'll write that up here. We're going to rise 7 and run 2. And we always go to the right. So we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then over 2 and put a point there at 2, 5. I can't move any more up my graph or down from the y-intercept, so I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to connect those 2 points to create my line. And remember, we want that to go all the way to the edge of the graph and have the arrows at the end. And that's it. Let's try the next one. So for number 2, we've got y equals -6x plus 3. So I'm going to begin at +3 on the y-axis. And then my slope is -6. Now, rise over run, we only have one number here. So remember that to turn a whole number into a fraction, we take that whole number and put it over 1. So this tells me that I'm going to rise -6 and run 1. So from my y-intercept, I'm going to go down 6 and to the right 1 and end up here at 1, -3. Then we're going to connect our 2 points, draw my line all the way across, and put the arrows at the end. All right, so let's look at these other 2 problems. This is on the second worksheet because for this, we cannot immediately identify our y-intercept or our slope. So we are going to have to rewrite these in slope-intercept form before we can graph it. So I'm going to subtract 7x from both sides. So I'm going to get y equals -7x plus 5. So then I've got a y-intercept of 5 and a slope of -7, which is the same as -7/1. So I'm going to start at +5 on the y-axis, and then I'm going to drop 7 and run 1 to end up there. Connect my points, and that's going to be my line. All right, let's try number 2. When I subtract 3x from both sides, this time I'm going to have a coefficient of 5 here. So that's going to give me 5y equals -3x minus 5. Remember, when we divide both sides by 5, we need to do it to every piece. So I'll get y equals -3/5 x minus 1. So y-intercept's at -1. Now, when your slope is negative, we know that my line needs to be decreasing. So as you move from the left to the right, it's got to look like it's going down. We typically will attribute the negative to the top number so that instead of rising up, we're going to drop down. And then we always like to move to the right. So that would be down 3 and then to the right 5 to end up here. Now, because I have space, I'm going to show you if I can go down and to the right, I can also technically go up and to the left, and it should create the same line. So if I go up 3 and then left 5, I'll end up right there. And those 3, you can see that those 3 points all lie on the same line. So then I have a little bit more to work with here, and that is going to be my line there. There you go.